Ahoy my hatchlings, and welcome to another episode of Autocraft. And today we are starting out in our lovely massive storage system for our industrial district. And you know, I just kind of realized that this thing has a very mumbo vibe and a very 2012 vibe. Like, come on guys, 2012 was like 8 years ago. Get with the times. This does have a very old feel to it, this stuff, and just the giant piles of chests. Though I suppose this would have to be after they added trap chests. Oh, time to sleep. There we go. But we've made some good progress on the stuff down here. These things are a little bit screwed up right now, so I'll need to fix the towers. But we've made good progress down here. We've rearranged all this stuff. So the droppers are now underneath here. We have hoppers that go out to the edge because mobs were falling down on the water here. And we've basically repositioned everything and lowered everything down by one, and hello. That was not something I had considered happening. Oh well. But then all the stuff runs over here, runs around here, and then runs up to here, and we still have a lot more on this tower left to do. So let's jump right into it. Also, I only have like 6 hours to make this episode. I accidentally hit the wrong key and ended my recording instead of switching my view. Also, we only have like 6 hours to get this episode done, so let's get into it because we're gonna have to go hard. Fast? Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's go. And with that, our filters are all done. I suppose I don't need to be wearing this thing anymore. There we go, that looks better. That looks better. I don't like having this stuff on my head. But we now have the line, so stuff from the mob farm will climb up here, whoopsie. We'll fly up this thing, flow along here, and then go into our storage system. Now, where I put this is probably not the best, because this is lighting up the edge here. And like, okay, I suppose it's still spawnable. It's just gonna hurt the rates slightly. I suppose it's not gonna be really that noticeable, but I could have done that better. But our next step now is we need to go ahead and start filling in all these filter materials. We're going to be using torches for the filter items. So if I remember correctly, all we have to do is just place torches along like this. And let's say this first one's going to be gunpowder. I'm pretty sure this should stop at 41. Let's just make sure that happens. Perfect. It does. So we don't actually need to fill this up with 41. We can just have one in here and it'll fill up on its own. So let's go ahead and get that stuff back, and we can start filling up all of these chunks with all the various item filters. And that is the last filter. So all the filters are now set up. This is I severely overestimated. I forgot how you make filters, so I very severely overestimated the amount of torches I need, because I still have all these torches that I made. And then I have not that box, or that box, or that box. Which box is it? This box. And then I have this whole box. I brought enough stuff to make like 4 shulker boxes of torches, and oh, time to sleep. And yeah, I needed 4 stacks of torches. So I managed to be off on that estimation by a factor of 25, which I think is the most I've ever been off before. But with that, this area is now done. So I'm thinking what we might do is I still need to go downstairs and fix the there's some stuff going on with the farm, that some of the water streams are a little bit broken, so I need to fix that. But then I'm thinking, what if we go ahead and run this for an hour or two while I go off and do other things, and then we can come back and see if this system is working and how much stuff we get. This is exciting. I really hope this works. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be sad, but I hope it works. So we've been AFK here most of the night. We got kicked off shortly after I went to bed, but you know, that's sort of what happens. But we've made ourselves a huge amount of gunpowder. Now, admittedly, this farm is not super duper efficient, and a lot of times there were other people on. But even so, we're still only getting, you know, 8 to 10,000 items an hour with this farm. But this farm is not really optimized for efficiency. It's big. It's big, but that's about all it really is. It just takes up a lot of the mob cap. But if you look at this thing, like, this is really slow to get all the mobs into position. So, it's not a super fast farm, but it is, it is a very nice farm. I'm pretty happy with it, and the storage system does seem to be working. Like, if we come over to here, we can see all of the stuff that the witches are dropping. And admittedly, we don't get many witches. Like, we've only made around 20 redstone over the night. Blistering amounts of redstone. But now, let's go ahead, and I wanted to explore the Telltale Tavern, which I didn't get to do last episode. Hello, barkeep. You know, I'm really excited about there being a new restaurant. This is, we finally have a restaurant here. So, what are you serving?
We serve water and steak.
Ah, simple meal. Simple meal.
Yes, very much. We also have rooms. We rent out rooms.
Oh,
upstairs.
You know, it'd be nice to have a place to stay here in the shopping district. I don't exactly have a place to live right now. How much are your rooms?
Well, we have single person rooms and two person rooms. Two person rooms are 2 diamonds per week, and a single person room is 1 diamond a week.
Well, I'm very, very lonely, and I don't think I'm likely to have anyone over. So, do you have an ender chest? I'd like, or could we see the single person room?
Sure, I'll put an ender chest here for now. But if you want to look at the single person rooms, there's 2 of them. We got room number B and room number C. A and D are double rooms.
Well, let's go to the left. This is quite a cute room.
It's very simple. You have a nice view on pretty much the entire shopping district from here.
That is really lovely. It looks really great. You can see the rocket from here.
Yes, you can. Well, I can't. My render distance is too low, but normally you can. Yes.
I guess because I didn't look at the top of the rocket, it is slightly outside of render range, so I don't see the top half of the rocket. Is it possible I can change out the sheets or whatever, or just build stuff?
Oh yeah,
stuff
just
in
go
here?
ahead. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. You know, I think I'd like to take this. I don't have my ender chest on me, so let's just hop downstairs and we can sort out payment. So
all right.
Let's grab this and 9 weeks.
Sure. There you go. Here's the key. Because it's currently unlocked, and I'm just gonna pretend like you can lock it. So there you go.
Thank you. This area is really, really lovely.
Thank you. I put a lot of effort into that.
Well, this place is super cool, and I can't wait to see how the rest of it turns out, because Rusty still has quite a bit more he wants to do yet. But I've been thinking, Rustic, Dragon, Rustic, Dragon. Yeah, this is sort of a rustic tavern, but it's not a rustic dragon tavern. But I think, my friends, I think I know how we can fix this. Let's hit higher speed build mode. So this time-lapse is going to be a little different because we are building an organic, and I thought maybe I'd do a bit of talkover in this time-lapse instead of the normal music. When building an organic, scale is your biggest factor. For me, heads more than anything else define the scale of the organic. Given Minecraft's very discrete scaling system, there are limits on what you can do, especially on the smaller end. At the smallest end you have using an actual dragon head, but above that it takes quite large heads to reach similar levels of detail. Generally, when I build a smaller dragon, I will use a 1 block wide head, but you are really limited on shape and detail. In this build, I decided to use a 3 block wide head, as it would allow for more detail in the coloring and the shape, allowing me to tilt the dragon's head towards the ground like I wanted. 3 blocks is also the largest I could make the head while still fitting on top of the building, which is not that large. I started first by building the head. I highly recommend you make the build in a creative world before attempting it in survival. At this scale, the head is fairly simple and doesn't look like much. Unfortunately, there is very little detail you can add to the head beyond basic shape. You cannot even make the mouth open or add eyes that look good. Once you have constructed the head, continue down the neck and make the wings of the dragon. In this case, I made a wyvern over the standard European dragon and anchored the wings to places a dragon would reasonably grab onto the roof. From here, I then continued the body, extending down into a tail. For that I began thickening up the tail and the body before adding legs, and lastly filling in the webbing of the wings. Add some little bits of detail, like a fluffy bit to the tail tip, some buttons for spines, little bone bits holding onto the roof, and lastly, some fire. After all, you cannot have a fire-breathing dragon without some fire. An end of Hyperseed build mode, and we now have ourselves a lovely dragon. I'm really happy with how this thing has turned out. It would have been nice if this build was a little bit bigger. It would have given me a bit more room for the dragon. The scale of things can sometimes be difficult trying to plan things, but I really love how this entire thing turned out. I think it looks really great. And something I was just thinking about... I don't have any more rockets. Something I was just thinking about is, I think in every single SMP that I have played on, Minecraft Maniacs, the Always Online series, Timecraft Season 1, Timecraft Season 2, every single season I've made a dragon. Now technically I've already made 2 dragons with the little statues over there, but this is probably the largest dragon I've made on an SMP series, and probably the largest dragon I've made in quite a while. So I'm really quite happy with how this dragon has turned out. Let me grab some rockets and then it's time to sleep. Okay, there we go. Yeah, but this is probably the largest dragon I've built in quite a while, and I do want to build a lot more dragons. I love dragons. They're so awesome. So we're gonna probably be building a lot more dragons yet this season. And fly, please. Thank you. No, connection's fine. But this is just the first of many, and I am so happy with this thing. So happy with this thing. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you today is that we're going to be making some changes to sabotage. The first change is that traps are now going to cost 3 per diamond block instead of 5 per diamond block, because they were just a bit too cheap before. The second thing that's going to happen is, last week there were not any sabotages performed, and this week it's looking the same. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to add a rule that the DM, which is me, I suppose GM, because this isn't a dungeon game, are going to create sabotages and apply them randomly, if there aren't enough that have been filled. So right now, there are 9 players. We're thinking 5 should be a reasonable amount of sabotages to add into the mix. Now at first, they're not going to be anything particularly scary. I'm thinking, you know, in the first couple weeks of doing this, they're all like 1 diamond sabotages, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later they go up to 2, on and on like that, until we eventually get up to really scary sabotages. And hopefully this will encourage things to happen in the game, and maybe people to come up with their own sabotages as well to pay in, because, well, the pot doesn't get bigger if people don't add to the pot. But I think those are the main changes that we're going to do for now. I'm really excited with how all of this is going, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode of Autocraft. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!